Plenty of fix-up work to do, but not enough money. How Fargo plans to meet the repair needs of its school buildings.
A small fire chases residents from their apartments tonight. We'll tell you the extent of damage. And the test results are in on some of the best exercise equipment for home.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
Fargo schools are filling up, causing daily wear and tear, and it's a price tag that can't be paid in full right now, meaning your child's classroom could be waiting for an upgrade for quite some time, even years. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
With new school construction already underway and a 10-year facility plan pinpointing the needs of the district, Valley News Team's Christina Craig joins us after attending that school board meeting to explain the blueprints of this timeline. Christina?
Thanks, Steph. A consulting firm has advised the Fargo Public Schools that with a district of nearly 11,000 students and growing, the recommended annual budget for repairs should ring in at $4 million per year. But on average, the district plans to spend only 3/4 of that, saying they don't have the money.
This time the board feels that spending $2.8 million or whatever it is per year is what we can afford at this point, and really is what's taking care of our needs right now.
And administrators expect to see an increase of up to 150 students in the next 2 years, and they expect it to go up even more. However, the superintendent says they sit comfortably to cover the long-range facility plan, which includes annual maintenance expenditures at different schools each year. Over the course of the next 10 years, the district plans to spend more than $1 billion.
This is updating old things, replacing windows, making sure the roofs don't leak, making sure the parking lots are in good shape, taking care of those things that just happen in a normal maintenance cycle.
Now in 2015, Discovery Middle School, South High, and North will receive the most funding to install a new sprinkler system, update the heating and cooling operations, and fire alarm computer software. And more parking signs. Steph?
All right, a lot to come, Christina. Thank you. On top of all that, the board's continuing to pursue the purchase of land for a future elementary site this fall, and that would sit west of I-29 near 76th Avenue South. If there was a sudden fluctuation in students, though, the board says they would consider portable classrooms as a short-term solution. And also at tonight's school board meeting, the board celebrated some good news and the accomplishments of students part of the English Language Learners program. What started as a short story writing project turned into a little more. All student pieces were published into a book. Most of the English language learners have only been in the U.S. for 4 years, and this was their chance to share their story about all the struggles that they have gone through in their home country with education.
Miss Joki made me comfortable about the book, about reading the book and writing my own story of my life. All of you lay down here, he shouted. They started beating us. We cried, I cried. We cried and cried, and instead of sending us to class, they sent us back home.
And the board was also briefed on Superintendent Jeffrey Schatz's annual review of the district's learning environment, discipline monitoring, and how he's handled different situations with students. And all members of that review committee say the superintendent is in compliance with district policy.
Heavy smoke in an apartment building tonight caused residents to evacuate for a short time. A grease fire in one of the apartment's kitchens caused some commotion at 3353 15th Avenue South. A resident tried to put it out but burned his hand. When it got out of control, the alarm was sounded and people evacuated. A resident tried to stop the blaze but burned his hand. The fire was put out quickly after firefighters arrived on the scene. 4 people were taken to the hospital tonight following a 2-car crash. It happened by 8th Street and Main Avenue near the Kennelly O'Keefe office building. It appears that one of the 2 vehicles rear-ended the other. No names have been released. The injured were taken in for neck and back pain.
Many of us are enjoying the significantly cheaper gas prices that we've had the past few months. But those low prices are starting to bring the pressure of uncertainty to western North Dakota's oil-producing companies and even to Minnesota businesses. The number of oil rigs in North Dakota are starting to shut down. Right now, there are 156 active oil rigs. Last January, there were 193. An Alexandria, Minnesota company that builds heating equipment for oil wells says they're not being impacted just yet, but they know that they will be in just a few months.
Well, we think it'll affect us. We're just going to have to be more aggressive at maintaining our market share. pretty much what the oil-producing countries are doing right now. They're becoming very aggressive.
Majority Leader Alec Carlson says the legislature is cautiously optimistic about the state's impact and plans to reevaluate their budgets this session.
The recent tragic bus versus train crash near Larimore, North Dakota, has many wondering about the safety of rural train crossings. In rural North Dakota and Minnesota, there are often no crossing arms or lights, just a simple sign. The Federal Railroad Administration reports train and vehicle crashes rising 400% from 2011 to 2013. Officials suspect many people just don't pay close enough attention to notice the train.
For the vast majority of the time, there's going to be nothing around, and that's what's going to get people in trouble, is that complacency that they're going to have when there's no trains around. There's hundreds of miles of tracks in our county, and as far as I can tell, almost all of them are used on a regular basis.
The Federal Railroad Administration statistics report 2 train accidents in 2013. There were also 2 crashes last year, but thankfully no one died. A close vote within the Maple Valley School District on a $10 million bond issue. It failed by just 10 votes. 60% approval was needed. The money would have covered the cost of building a new high school in Tower City and the renovation of the existing high school into an elementary school. The matter will go back to the school board to decide the next move.
Here's a warning tonight from the Better Business Bureau. Watch out for phony IRS calls. They've become common and can target anyone, often seeming to focus on certain groups like foreign-born citizens. Fraudsters claim an affiliation with the IRS and also use fake names and bogus IRS ID badge numbers. They're abusive and they threaten arrest or even deportation if alleged tax debts are not paid immediately. Now, the truth is the IRS does not make such phone calls. They initiate contact with taxpayers through the mail. So if you get this call, hang up right away. And here's another scam going around. Callers claiming to represent a bill collection firm on behalf of Beltrami Electric or Otter Tail Power Company. The caller threatens to shut power off if a bill isn't paid. The victim's then instructed to go to Walgreens or Walmart and buy a Green Dot prepaid credit card, call a phone number, and provide it as a form of paying the bill. Authorities in Beltrami County are saying neither power company uses this method to collect past due bills.
10 at 10 continues now with authorities in Minnesota warning residents about the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning. This after 2 women were found dead in their home. The officer who responded yesterday measured lethal levels of carbon monoxide outside and snapped a photo of the home's chimney completely encased in ice. Then once inside, was overcome by the levels himself and had to be treated at a local hospital. Heating experts recommend annual maintenance checks by a licensed certified technician who will also check co-detectors as well.
You'll want to change those out every 5 to 7 years, and that's from the manufacturer date. It's really important that people get their furnaces checked for efficiency.
And police didn't find any carbon monoxide detectors in the home.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Well, sound advice there. It's cold enough
is,
outside, and that water's a byproduct of the combustion.
Yep.
So that ice is frequent outside of those vents. So check those. It's a real good
Some
reminder.
good news happening right now. We're warming up.
We are warming up. Take a look at these temperatures, and after a 14-degree high today, 7 degrees the current temperature. That's above. We've lost a minus sign, if you can believe it, and I don't think many are too upset about it. South-southwest winds 9 miles per hour, and in Grand Forks right now, in East Grand Forks, quiet conditions. Wind from the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour. It feels wind chilly, but 10 below is a whole lot better than 30 or 40 below wind chills. Temperatures are around 10 in Fergus Falls. You can see the deck of clouds here in Lakes Country from Bemidji all the way down to Sisseton. Things a little bit cooler here in the valley and in the eastern third of North Dakota with single-digit readings above 0. Snow moving into the Twin Cities between St. Cloud and rolling to the east now. Also southern Minnesota seeing some snow. Likely accumulations there of up to an inch or so, maybe some spots getting 2. So some slippery roads out there as warmer air surges its way eastward, and it's welcome. Winds generally from the west or south 5 to 10 miles per hour, so enough wind to cause wind chills to be below 0 for the majority of the viewing area. 2 below your current wind chill in Jamestown this hour. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. As we head through the overnight hours, it does look like any snow potential zips out on the right side of the screen here, and Overnight temperatures will be in the single digits for most of our western North Minnesota counties, rather. And we'll actually see a rise in temperatures, bumping them up as we head towards the morning hours. The clouds move in, and that'll bring in a little bit more warmth with them as well. But also a chance of some snow along the international border as we go through our morning hours. So from Minot through Devil's Lake, your chance will be in the early half of the morning. And as we go toward midday, I think it stays pretty much along the international border with hit or miss flurries along and north of Highway 2, both in North Dakota and in Minnesota. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day and temperatures climbing from single digits into the teens by midday. Holy smokes, look at the 20s returning by the afternoon to near 30 degrees for our westernmost counties. Chance of snow does increase as we head into the evening hours, but again, doesn't look like it's going to cause too much in the way of accumulation, but it could cause some slippery streets. Nonetheless, spotty conditions into the evening will bring some flurries, but again, accumulations under about 1/2 inch for most of us. Your planning forecast mid and upper 20s to near 30 degrees out in our westernmost counties. Still enough wind to make it feel a little wind chilly, but I'll tell you what, it will feel delightful. Hit and miss flurries across lakes country as well, with the temperatures in the low 20s to mid 20s. Likewise, low to mid 20s in northwest Minnesota, and a better chance for some snow up in your area, say 30% of the area getting some measurable snow over 1/10 inch. And 27 in Mackville, and temperatures in the upper 20s out towards Maddox. The cold air has left the scene for a while as we look at the purple blobs up there. Really some mild air to contend with in the next several days, and the planning forecast shows just that, a little thawing on Thursday and 30 degrees. We stay in the 30s to close the work week off. Now notice the weekend does bring a chance for a few flakes of snow. It does not look heavy at this point. And really a 20% chance means most of us will see very little, if anything at all, but clouds. And temperatures do cool off just a touch on Sunday. Martin Luther King Day, 31 degrees. All in all, a 7-day forecast with no negatives is something we can all be positive about.
Very positive.
Yes.
Thanks, Hutch. Still ahead for us tonight, how music therapy is bringing light and healing to youngsters at a children's hospital.
But first, the top picks for at-home exercise equipment so you don't have to go to the gym.